Hello, sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid is a strong, highly corrosive mineral acid that is widely used in industry and laboratories. Sulfuric acid is called the king of the chemical. Manufacture of sulfuric acid by contact process. Production of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide gas can be prepared either by burning sulfur or roasting of iron pyrites. Sulfur and oxygen reacts and produces sulfur dioxide. Also, iron pyrites reacts with oxygen, produces sulfur dioxides. Catalytic oxidation of sulfur. सल्फरले अक्सिजनसँग रिएक्सन गर्यो, बर्निङ भयो भने सल्फर डाइअक्साइड निस्किन्छ। त्यस्तै गरेर आइरन पाइराइटले अक्सिजनसँग रिएक्सन गर्यो भने पनि के निस्किन्छ त सल्फर डाइअक्साइड निस्किन्छ। क्याटालाइटिक अक्सिडेसन अफ सल्फर डाइअक्साइड। अब सल्फर डाइअक्साइडलाई भानाडियम पेन्टोक्साइड क्याटलिस्टको प्रेजेन्समा 450 डिग्री सेल्सियस हटाउने र त्यसको प्रेसर चाहिँ 2 एटमोस्फियर प्रेसर हामीले मेन्टेन गर्यो भने यो सल्फर ट्राइअक्साइडमा कन्भर्ट हुन्छ र सल्फर ट्राइअक्साइड कन्भर्ट इन्टु सल्फ्युरिक एसिड। Sulfur trioxide obtained is obtained in 98% sulfuric acid to produce oleum or fuming sulfuric acid. The oleum is diluted by calculated amount of water to get desired concentration of sulfuric acid. यो सल्फर ट्राइअक्साइडले सल्फ्युरिक एसिडसँग रिएक्सन गर्छ र ओलियम बन्छ र ओलियमलाई हामीले वाटरसँग रिएक्सन गर्यो भने फेरि सल्फ्युरिक एसिड बन्छ। Condition optimum yield of sulfuric acid. Formation of sulfur dioxide to sulfur trioxide is one of the most important steps in the manufacture of sulfuric acid. The production of sulfuric acid entirely depends on the amount of sulfur trioxide formed, as the reaction is reversible, exothermic, and proceeds with the decrease in volume. Leach-Eckler principle can be applied for the maximum yield of sulfur trioxide. Low temperature. This reaction is exothermic, so low temperature is required for maximum yield, but too low temperature is too slow to attain the equilibrium, so an optimum temperature of about 450 degrees Celsius is supplied. High concentration of reactants. High concentration of sulfur dioxide, oxygen is used for more production of sulfur trioxide. High pressure favors the reaction because the product form has less volume than the reactant, but the acid resistant taught which is able to withstand high pressure and difficult build, hence optimum pressure is the 2 atmospheric pressure applied. Use of catalyst. Rate of reaction is increased by the use of positive catalyst. So vanadium pentoxide uses the suitable catalyst. Sulfuric acid optimum yield को लागि टेम्परेचर लो हुनुपर्छ किनकि यो रिएक्सन के छ एक्सोथर्मिक रिएक्सन छ र कन्सन्ट्रेसन हाई हुनुपर्छ। यो लिच-एक्लर प्रिन्सिपलले भन्छ जसको कन्सन्ट्रेसन हाई हुन्छ, रिएक्टेन्टको कन्सन्ट्रेसन हाई हो भने प्रोडक्टतिर सिफ्ट हुन्छ रिएक्सन। त्यसकारण यसमा यसको रिएक्टेन्ट भनेको को त सल्फर डाइअक्साइड अक्सिजन हो, त्यसकारण सल्फर डाइअक्साइड अक्सिजनको कन्सन्ट्रेसन हाई हुनु पर्यो, प्रेसर हाई हुनु पर्यो। यहाँ नम्बर अफ मलिक्युल्सको कुरा छ, त्यसकारण प्रेसर बढायो भने के हुन्छ लोअर नम्बर अफ मलिक्युल्स र ट्रान्सफर हुन्छ। हाम्रो यो रिएक्सनमा हेरौँ, यहाँ फर्स्टमा सल्फरबाट अक्सिजनबाट बन्दाखेरि के भएको छ, यो दुईटा मलिक्युलबाट एउटा मलिक्युल कन्भर्ट भएको छ। त्यस्तै गरी आइरन सल्फाइडमा अलि फरक रहेछ। त्यस्तै गरेर यो क्याटालाइटिक अक्सिडेसन च्याम्बरमा कन्भर्सन अफ सल्फर डाइअक्साइडमा चाहिँ यो सल्फर ट्राइअक्साइड र सल्फ्युरिक एसिड मिलेर वोलियम बनेको छ। त्यस्तै गरेर यो लास्टमा यो वोलियमबाट सल्फ्युरिक एसिड बन्दा पनि के रहेछ त यसमा दुईटा मल्कुल एउटा दुईटा मल्कुल नै बनेको छ। त्यसकारण यसको सुइटेबल क्याटालिज सुइटेबल प्रेसर चाहिँ 2 एटमोस्फेरिक प्रेसरमा हामीले राख्नुपर्छ। High pressure favors reaction because the product form has less volume than the reactant, but reactant tower is able to withstand the pressure. Difficult to build, hence of optimum pH pressure is 2 atmosphere pressure is applied. Catalyst को कुरा suitable catalyst हामीले प्रयोग गर्नुपर्छ। यो vanadium pentoxide छ। यो इन्स्ट्रुमेन्टेसन भयो। यो आई र पाइराइड बर्नरमा हामीले एयर पठाउँछौँ र यहाँ सल्फर डाइअक्साइड निस्किन्छ। इलेक्ट्रिकल डस्ट प्रेसिपिटेटर छ, स्टिम छ, स्टिम च्याम्बर, यसमा वासिङ हुन्छ र सल्फर डाइअक्साइड कुलिङ हुँदै कहाँ जान्छ वासिङ टावर स्क्रुबरमा जान्छ। र त्यस पछाडि त्यहाँ हामीले कङ सल्फ्युरिक एसिड पठाउँछौँ। त्यसले केही मोइस्चरहरू छ भने एब्जर्सन गर्छ र फेरिक हाइड्रोक्साइड छ, आर्सेनिक प्युरिफायर च्याम्बर छ। यहाँ टेस्टिङ बक्स यहाँ केही इम्प्युरिटिजहरू छ कि भनेर हामी टेस्ट गर्छौँ, फेरि टटाउँछौँ र कन्ट्याक्ट च्याम्बरमा जान्छ। कन्ट्याक्ट च्याम्बरमा यो सल्फर डाइअक्साइडबाट सल्फर ट्राइअक्साइडमा कन्भर्ट हुन्छ र त्यस पछाडि यो हामीले सल्फ्युरिक एसिड स्प्रे गरेपछि त्यो सल्फर ट्राइअक्साइड केमा कन्भर्ट हुन्छ त वोलियममा कन्भर्ट हुन्छ। अनि हामीले यो वोलियम जुन आएको हुन्छ यो वोलियमलाई हामीले सुइटेबल अमाउन्ट अफ वाटरसँग मिक्स गरेर हामीले सल्फ्युरिक एसिड निकाल्न सक्छौँ। सल्फर पाइराइड बर्नर सल्फर र अक्सिजन रियाक्सन गरेर सल्फर डाइअक्साइड बन्छ। पाइराइड बर्नरसँग अक्सिजन रियाक्सन गरेर सल्फर डाइअक्साइड बन्छ। Purification unit, the unit sulfur dioxide gas is obtained is purified by the purification unit. त्यस्तै छ dust precipitator. Dust precipitator particles present in the sulfur dioxide gas is precipitated in electrical dust precipitator by the influence of high potential difference applied between the metallic conductors fitted in the chamber. Steam chamber, the lighter dust particles are settled down by using steam in the steam chamber. Cooler, the gas coming out from the steam chamber are passed through the cooler. The gas gets cooled down to about 100 degrees Celsius. Washing tower, the cooled sulfur dioxide gas is then passed into the tower called scrubber, which is packed with the quartz, and water is sprayed from the top. The water-soluble impurities are washed away. Drying tower, the moisture present in the sulfur dioxide is absorbed by the spray of Kong sulfuric acid in drying tower. Arsenic purifier, arsenic oxide present in gas is absorbed by the ferric oxide because it may cause the catalytic poisoning. Testing box, the purity of sulfur dioxide checked in the testing box by passing through the darkened box preheater. The purified mixture of sulfur dioxide and oxygen is heated up to 450 degrees Celsius. Contact chamber, the sulfur dioxide gas is catalytically oxidized to sulfur trioxide in the presence of vanadium pentoxide is catalyst at 450 degrees Celsius temperature and 2 atmospheres pressure. Absorption tower, this tower is packed with quartz or acid-proof stone in the 98% sulfuric acid is sprayed from the top of the tower, and concentrated sulfuric acid absorbs sulfur trioxide to form volume and pyrosulfuric acid. Volume is then treated with the calculated amount of water to form sulfuric acid desired concentration. Physical properties of sulfuric acid. It is colorless, hygroscopic, syrupy liquids. It is highly soluble in water. The sulfuric acid is diluted by adding acid slowly to water with constant stirring and by adding the water to acid. Melting point is 10 degrees Celsius and boiling point is 338 degrees Celsius. Pure sulfuric acid is covalent compound and bad conductor electrically. However, aqueous sulfuric acid conducts electricity. Litmus test, sulfuric acid is covalent compound. In pure state, it does not change the color of the blue litmus paper. Aqueous acid gets ionized and produces hydrogen ion onto solution, due to which it can change the color of blue litmus paper to red. Chemical property: sulfuric acid. Decomposition of sulfuric acid on heating decomposes into sulfur dioxide, water, and sulfur dioxide in oxygen. Acidic nature of sulfuric acid. As sulfuric acid, strong diabasic acid and ionized to two steps. If it gives two series of salts like bisulfate and sulfate when reacted with this. Sodium hydroxide reacts with sulfuric acid, sodium bisulfate, sodium hydroxide reacts with sulfuric acid, sodium sulfate, ammonia and sulfuric acid, ammonium sulfate, sodium carbonate reacts with sulfuric acid, sodium sulfate, sodium carbonate, sulfuric acid, sodium sulfate. Sulfuric acid is oxidizing agent, action with metals and metal more electropositive metals and hydrogen electrogen, zinc, ferrous, aluminum. Sulfuric acid produces hydrogen gas. Later, sulfuric acid produces to metal oxide in the sulfate. Common sulfuric acid, zinc, copper, silver, mercury, etc., respective metal sulfates, and sulfuric acid reduced to sulfur dioxide. First of all, sulfuric acid is dissociated into sulfur dioxide, water, and nascent oxygen. Nascent oxygen reacts with the metals and forms the oxide of metals. Again, that oxide of metals reacts with the sulfuric acid and forms the sulfate. When this cancel and this the products. Action with non-metals, carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. First of all, the sulfuric acid dissociates and nascent oxygen. That nascent oxygen reacts with non-metals and reacts, for example, reacts with carbon, carbon dioxide, for example, sulfur, sulfur dioxide. Phosphorus is oxidized into phosphoric acid. In this case, also the sulfuric acid dissociate to produce nascent oxygen, and nascent oxygen reacts with the phosphorus to produce phosphorus pentoxide, which reacts with water and produces phosphoric acids. Action with some other reducing agents: sulfuric acid oxidizes sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide to sulfur and self-reduced to sulfur dioxide. Sulfuric acid produces sulfur dioxide, water, and nascent oxygen, and sulfur hydrogen sulfides reacts with nascent oxygen, gives the free sulfur. Hydrogen bromide and hydrogen iodide are oxidized to bromine and iodine respectively. Sulfuric acid is dehydrating agent. Sulfuric acid is good dehydrating agent. It absorbs water molecules from sugar, cellulose, copper, sulfate crystal, etc. With sugar, it is the charring action. With corn sulfuric acid is treated with sugar, wood paper, etc. It absorbs water and a black mass of the carbon is formed. The process is called charring. For example, sucrose reacts with the sulfuric acid, produces the carbon. With the black, with the copper sulfate crystal, it removes the water crystallization hydrated salt. For example, blue vitriol, copper sulfuric acid, it white and sulfate. With oxalic acid crystal and formic acid, and oxalic acid reacts with carbon sulfuric acid to produce carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, and formic acid also carbon dioxide in water. This is the structure of sulfuric acid. Uses of sulfuric acid. It is used in the manufacture of fertilizer. It is used in manufacture of hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, phosphoric acid. It is used in oxidizing agent. It is used drying and dehydrating agent. Okay, it's all about sulfuric acid under CTEVT, Diploma in Computer Engineering Second. Thanks for watching and request you all like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for patience. Let's now bye bye. See you again.